All right. So for this session, we are going to work out how to calculate accumulated fund from a given question. Now, if you remember from our earlier videos and discussions, we've seen that owner's equity for a private organization, we add our profits. So owner's equity at the beginning, we add our profit. I'm sure you know this by now. Um, if there are any drawings, we take that out. If there are any additional capital, we add that. Then we get our owner's equity at the end, right? I'm sure you remember this. Okay, so what's the essence of calculating for the accumulated fund? So we said that for a non-profit organization, the accumulated fund is the same as the capital. So accumulated fund, we have our assets minus our liability will give us our owner's equity. Let's do that first. So we are saying that in the same way, our assets equals our liabilities plus our accumulated fund. Or our assets minus our liabilities will give us our accumulated fund. Same concept, different names. Okay. So it means that if we can have accumulated fund at the beginning, we add our surplus, no drawings by owners. If there are any additional contributions, that also can be added. And then we have our accumulated fund at the end. Okay. So we need to work out for this one. We add our surplus to give us our accumulated fund at the end. So we need to find this. Usually this is at the beginning of the year. So let's say January 2021. And this will be at the end of the year. Okay, so we need to find all items that are at the beginning of the year would give us our accumulated fund at the beginning. How do we get accumulated fund at the beginning? We use this one. Okay, so we can use this for both the beginning and the end. I use it for the beginning. We can also use it for the end. It just depends on the dates. Once we get the beginning, we add our surplus to give us accumulated fund at the end. All right. So it's the same concept that we saw in the earlier videos. This can go for beginning. It can also go for the end. All stemming from the accounting equation. So with this understanding, we are going to find this first. Find this first. And then you add your surplus. You work out your income and expenditure to get surplus or deficits. And then you add to get your accumulated fund at the end. Okay, so add surplus to get your, okay. All right, so we're going to use this to find our accumulated fund, and then once we work out our surplus, we add it to get our accumulated fund. So remember, we are using the beginning amounts, okay? So we use our 3Ws, Lagata. Now we use a statement of affairs to help us arrive at our accumulated fund. Okay. All right. So all the assets, remember, we are looking for this. This is what we want. All right. This is what we want here in this statement. I want to show my arrow. Okay. That's it. Let's go. Right. So this is what I want. Hmm. Let me put it here to show my, much better. Okay. So I want my statement of affairs. I'm going to look for my assets. I'm going to look for my liabilities to give me my accumulated fund. Why do I need my accumulated fund? Because I'm going to add it to my surplus to give me my accumulated fund at the end. All of these would come into, remember, this will be where? In which statements? The statement of financial position. Okay. All right. So when you're preparing your statement of financial position at the end of the year, the 1st December 2021, this is what you're going to do. Of course, with your assets and your liabilities. So we are starting from the back. Our end goal is here, but we are starting from the back. We find this first, find this, add it, and get this. And we're going to show all this in this statement. Okay. All right. So I want this. I'm going to use this. And then, so let me start with my assets. Let's get rolling. Start with my assets. Now I check the dates again. First, because I'm interested in the beginning. So all these items are on the first. I need to check which ones are assets, which ones are liabilities, and then that can help me find my accumulated fund. So first one, let me put my currency there. My first assets are freehold. Freehold premises. I have my furniture and fittings. I have my stock. So what is subscription due? Subscription that members are owing us. So yeah, they are like debtors, isn't it? Okay. Members are owing. That should be all. The rest are liabilities. Okay. So my assets, I have freehold is 10,000. check the year, 17, bar stock 575, subscription 700. Okay, I add all. But that's not all. I've left something out. What do you think it is? Cash. If we check the receipts and payment accounts, I could have ended here, but it's not correct. So I have beginning cash. Remember we said in our earlier video that cash, the receipt and payment account may have a beginning balance on cash and then the closing balance. Okay, so I need to show my beginning balance for cash, which was the 2560. So I'm going to add that. So when you get here, remember that your cash also is part. If you have information on your beginning cash, you need to add that also. So this is a cash at the beginning, okay, which was 2560. So I'll add that to and that gives me my total assets. So my total assets is equal to my list of assets here. Then I go to my liabilities. Liabilities. How do I find my liabilities? I have three here: rates, unpaid, utilities due. Remember the other names for due: unpaid, owing, outstanding. Subscriptions prepaid are also liabilities. They are paid in advance. So I'm going to show my rates unpaid, my utilities due, then my subscription prepaid. So rate unpaid at the beginning is 25. Utilities, there was nothing. So you can take that out or just put a dash there. Okay. So my liabilities is 40. If I add these two, I can subtract now. Remember the formula. We are doing assets minus liabilities equals accumulated fund, right? Great. So I have my assets here. I have my liabilities here. So I can see my total liabilities. And then I'm close to my accumulated fund. I say accumulated fund. That's the beginning. How do I get that? My assets minus my liabilities. So this gives me my accumulated fund at the beginning. So it is this figure that I am going to add to my surplus. So if I don't want to forget, I can put here transfer to statement of financial position, add to surplus. This is just to help you remember. Okay. So if I go to my statement of financial position, like we showed earlier, you have your three W's there, data fund club, statements. You have your statement of financial position. That's at December. It's the end of the year, right? So I have my assets, which I'll list. So there will be all the 31st December, okay? And then I have my accumulated fund. Accumulated fund at the beginning. I add my surplus. Then I get my accumulated fund. At the end. So this is what I'm going to work out for. This one I already have, which is the blue. So I just transfer that here. So this figure is what I have here. If I have my surplus, I'll calculate that and then I'll get my total. Okay, so you'd have worked out your liabilities also to get your calculated fund. All right, so let's do some more practice so that we get familiar with it. Now you notice that if you are here, because this one you didn't have accumulated fund, when you subtracted, you had your accumulated fund here. Okay, so we can pull this a bit down and then show that our equation balances. Can show that our equation balances. So this is the same as, so this would be our net assets, which is the same as our accumulated fund. So these two should be the same. Okay, and you can do that also here. You make sure that whatever you get, your net assets are the same as your accumulated fund. So you need to find all your liabilities, make sure they're all there. You do your assets as well. You subtract to give you your accumulated fund. Okay. So we can say this is A, B, this is A minus B. Okay. All right. So that's all for now. We've looked at how to find the accumulated fund. You start with your statement of affairs, get your accumulated fund at the beginning, and then you transfer it here. You can open separate pages for all of these statements so that as you work out, you transfer. Okay. You don't have to wait till you finish or as you're working, you're transferring. So open a full page for this. Open a full page, do this. Open another page, put all your headings there. And then when you calculate, you transfer it. Once you calculate this, you transfer it there because the page is already opened. Okay. Once you do this, you put it down. Then you can go to your trading your income and expenditure account. If there's bad profit, you calculate that and then come and put that in there. Okay. So after this, you're going into your income and expenditure. Your income You do your income and expenditure. You open that also. You open that also. Income and expenditure accounts. Income and expenditure accounts for the year ended 31st December 2021. So you show your income. Just income. If there's bar profit, you calculate that. So you open this also, put it down, and then you open your bar trading accounts. Magata Fund Club, bar trading accounts for the year ended 31st December 2021. You have your sales, then you do as we did for the video. You can check that out, how to calculate for the bar profits, but it uses the same. So once you get this, you transfer to the EI&E. Okay, so you can put here workings 1, and this is your workings 1. Okay, and then you go to your subscriptions. You can have this working 2, and then you open your subscriptions account nicely. You can check that out also, and this will be your workings 2. And then you make progress. Okay, if there are other income, you check that out, and then you go to your expenditure. Okay, so it's important that you open these pages as you work, you post them in. Okay, all right, more practice and you will be fine. All the best.